Hey guys, we're going to take a look at our first example problem here, which is going to be using the focal form of a parabola to be able to just find a vertex. We're going to add some pieces to this as we go, but right now we just want to be able to find the vertex of the parabola. That's a really good starting point. Before we do that, we have to remember what that focal form is, and this is something that we kind of need to memorize as we go. The more you use the focal form, the more familiar it will be, but this is what we're looking for. We need x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k. So this is the equation that we got in the last video. I put that figure up there. We talked about the different pieces. But the idea here, one of the main ideas that we need to remember is that the vertex, when we're in this form, the vertex is at hk. Or in other words, it's the opposite of whatever's in here. Right? This is a minus h or a negative h. This is a minus k or a negative k. But this is a positive h and a positive k. And all that really means is whatever number is in here, we need to reverse it or change the sign of it to get like the opposite sign for our vertex. So if we look at here, the h and the k, the h is found by looking at the x piece, and the k is found by looking at the y piece. So in this case, we got a minus 2. That means h is positive 2. And then we have a plus 3. That means k is negative 3. And that is the vertex of this parabola right here. Now, the same is true for the rest of these. So let's take a look at this. Now, for the vertex, the x piece of the vertex, we need the opposite of positive 5. So negative 5. And then for here, we want the opposite of negative 4, which would be a positive 4. And that's where the vertex is for that guy. And this one looks a little bit different because I don't have parentheses on either side. So this is actually even more basic than these. It looks harder, but what we actually have, if we wanted to, we could add like an x minus 0 squared, right? And then a 4 times y minus 0. Having that minus 0 doesn't really change the meaning. X squared, x minus 0 squared, both of those are the same thing. Y or y minus 0, each of those are equivalent. So from here, my h is going to be 0, my k is also going to be 0. So this is an equation for a parabola where the vertex is at 0, 0. Okay, and this last one, we want the opposite of that guy and the opposite of that guy. And there's our vertex. It's just a quick example on finding vertex from an equation of a parabola in what we call focal form. Essentially, you're taking the opposite of the numbers inside the parentheses, unless, of course, you don't have any numbers inside the parentheses, in which case your vertex is going to be, you're going to have some zeros in it.